Time for Live Now with Dr. Carmen Harra. The show offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions. And now, here's Dr. Carmen Harra.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Live Now, the show that offers you the guidance you need to stop doubting and start living. The show is on KMET 1490, affiliated to ABC Radio. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, and I am always live on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on the station, and I really enjoy picking up on different topics and sharing my opinions with you. So this is a calling show. For that reason, I always invite you to participate and call in. The number to call in is 951-922-3532. The topic today is one that probably sounds very familiar: how to overcome betrayal and how to regain trust. Yeah, no one is a stranger to betrayal. And the truth is that we've all been betrayed. We've been betrayed in a way or another by someone we love. It could be a family member who lied to us, a friend who stabbed us in the back, or a partner who cheated on us. Regardless the effect of betrayal, they all very serious and or very traumatic. Regardless of who's been betraying us, we all have been suffering for pretty much a pretty long period of time, and healing is not easy. So I'm here today to help you heal, to help you understand what is betrayal all about, how to handle it. And it's one of the signs of the toxic relationship. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who's betraying you, then you have to reanalyze your worth, and it's time to walk away from that relationship, in my opinion, because it's a sign of serious toxicity in a relationship. So I want to show you how to end patterns of dishonesty once and for all. And I'll teach you how to recover from pain of betrayal, how to restart the process of trusting yourself and in others, which I know it's very hard to do. And if you've been betrayed and you want to talk about and you want to open up your soul to me, and if you don't have problems to talk openly on the radio, even if you use a different name, that's fine. Sometimes it's very good to talk. That's why cognitive therapy exists, for you to be able to open up your heart. And when you speak, you have a different understanding. And when you communicate, you can be healed. So in order to be healed, it's good to talk. And the number to call is 951-922-3532. And I'm going to go to Pauline in a minute because she's my first call. I'm very excited to talk to my lovely Pauline. I just want to introduce in 2 seconds the topic, because my goal is to help you recover from betrayal. It's essential for your well-being. A lot of people, after being betrayed, they become so bitter, so negative, so dark. And my experience as a counselor, as a psychologist for so many years, is that there's nothing as common, as painful as being betrayed. And I speak to many, many people on a daily basis, and I've seen female clients, a lot of them coming to me and tell me that their husband cheated on them with younger women and slept with their best friends, with the cleaning lady, and also plenty of male friends who confess that their girlfriends or wives deceived them. So when it comes to the topic of betrayal, I've heard it all. And everybody, in a way or another, experienced this betrayal. Now, Arthur Miller said, and I wanna read your quote: "Betrayal is the one truth that sticks." And I'm sure that you agree with that. The worst type of betrayal is actually in love. When it comes to love, that's because our strongest emotions are attached to our partner, and we devote ourselves to that person, and we give that person in our life so much power because we're so attached, because we care, because we see our partner as our other half and means everything to us. So the fact that betrayal happens so frequently makes it so difficult to overcome. But it does look like some kind of an epidemic. There's an epidemic of infidelity in the world. I mean, if you look at the news, if you follow the news with the celebrity, it's pretty incredible how much infidelity exists out there, and it's crazy how so many people, they don't act in good faith towards one another. So the question is how you handle this, how you heal from this, how you acknowledge this, how you process this. Now, there's an interesting fact to consider. Animals act to fulfill their needs to survive and nothing else. And they don't stop to question their decision. They don't think, ethically speaking, is this the right thing to do? What makes us different than animals is the ability to reason, right from wrong, to apply logic to our choices. So before we act, we're supposed to reflect whether something is good for us or is negative. We're supposed to employ some sense of morality to be guided, in our action. And yet, in many cases, we don't. And when it comes to infidelity, is that basic instinct that takes over. So we are not distinguishing left from right. So there are many reasons a person might choose to cheat. They are unhappy in their relationship. They bored. They have a big ego, and they think that it's okay to do it, or they have a sexual addiction. There are, as I said, multiple reasons. The fact is that this is absolutely inherently morally wrong to do it. So I personally sympathize with everyone who's been betrayed. And I personally have been betrayed in many levels from friends, family members, but I've never lost my foundation of faith. When I said faith, I don't refer to religion. I refer to faith when, in a sense of trust in others. So believe it or not, this is the most difficult kind of faith to keep, because once a person betrays us, it's impossible to believe in somebody and trust again. So that's why betrayal has taught me to be more careful when it comes to trust. Yeah, and yet, one of the reasons I'm doing the show is to help you regain trust, to believe in yourself, and to believe in other people again. So that's kind of the way I think the show is so relevant for today. And if somebody betrays you, it's what we call their karma, and what we call their poor choices. And the saddest thing is, as I said, that betrayal is always associated with the concept of trust. Think of Jesus, who trusted Judah. And ultimately, this emotion, and we know how that turned, emotion hurt no one else but you. Now, I had a quote that is famous that Oprah Winfrey used a lot, my quote, in her magazines, and mentioned my quote many times. And my quote is this: betrayal leaves us at a fork in the road. We can become stuck in the bad moment, or we can put it behind us forever. We make the decision. So that's my quote. That's a Carmen Harra quote. No matter how badly you've been betrayed, you must move forward and heal for your own sake. Otherwise, you remain in the betrayal and relive it over and over and over in the next relationship and into the next for the rest of your life. So that's why I'm doing the show tonight. And you're probably going to ask me, so I'm going to recover. We'll talk about that. But let me go to my lovely Pauline and ask her and invite her to the show and express my gratitude that she called. I'm so thrilled to talk to Pauline anytime she calls. Hi, my lovely Pauline. How are you, my dear?
Hi, Carmen. When I saw the topic, I said, I always forget to come to this show. So I said, This time I'm going to come on as early as I could, and I did. And it's really good. I'm glad I listened because I wanted to see what you were going to do. But what perplexed me was what you were going to talk about. I understood most of it, but when you said the pattern of dishonesty, how does that fit in? But then I realized the answer, because actually, you know what? I just want to make a comment about all of you shared, because it sort of makes sense. It's like an epidemic, like you said, a lot of cheating. But you know what? This is all stuff karma from before, or maybe a pattern of your ancestors. It might not even be yours. I mean, I went into relationships in the beginning, always having this moral high ground, but I eventually did cheat. But I told my husband I needed to look because I never really had a chance. I was not happy, but I was honest. But then I said I won't sleep with anybody. Well, it was my proclaiming, but that didn't pan out. So eventually, it all came back at me because I punished myself. I knew I was wrong, and I knew on some level I'm punishing myself. I went into other relationships, and then I got hurt, and I got betrayed, and I got beat up. It comes back no matter what. Even if you don't think it will, you will get it. Because, I do believe that either you punish yourself or other people will teach you a lesson that you needed to learn. You chose to do this. And you chose to come into this life choosing who you chose. And if you, like you said, if you were connected to the highest part of yourself, you wouldn't do any of it. You wouldn't even be here probably, or you came here for other reasons. And the most important thing I always I couldn't let go of any relationship, including the one that beat me up. I knew I had to resolve it, satisfaction, and it meant me finally forgiving the person, but myself on top of that, because I couldn't believe I allowed myself to beat up and all this other stuff. So that was another aspect of forgiving somebody else was not good enough. I needed to forgive myself in the end. My choice.
Without a doubt, I will mention during the show later on what are the steps that you need to take, to regain trust. And it does start with regaining trust in yourself.
Right.
And forgiving yourself. But you know what? Actually, at the end of the day,
I'm glad I never turned into a bitter woman. I knew I had to resolve it, otherwise I would never heal from it. And I don't want to keep attracting the same types of lessons. I need to move on. So I know that that's definitely important. If you don't, even if you don't forgive, you have to forgive the other person, because if you don't, you're not going to forgive yourself.
Right.
So. Sorry, I mean, but the most important one I learned, and I never understood it when I first learned Ho'oponopono. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. All that. You just say it in different order, whatever your spirit says to say it in. But you got to really believe it. You can't just say it. And I finally got it, and it made a whole difference. Even if I didn't believe it in the beginning, I didn't understand it. It made no sense. And then I finally went through the steps, and I saw how it made so much sense once I really, truly, in my heart, forgave the other person, myself, and it was just so beautiful that I finally was able to surrender, like you say, surrender it, and that's how you stay pure and loving. And you can always, people still love me. I just didn't take it out on the next person. I didn't want to, because it wasn't the next person's fault. And I still don't even think any of the people I met was any of their fault. It must have been, I know on some level I did something in my past that I created all of this, and I wanted to learn some lessons. But I don't consciously know it, but I do know it on some level. I know I did. Why would I have to experience this?
Right.
So I know your books all made. I probably, if I read every single one of your books, I would have gotten all the lessons. But I didn't know you back then either.
Right. But anyhow, I want to tell you that there are steps that you can take to rebuild trust after being betrayed. And I think that one of the things that you should always do is understand betrayal, understand the instances of betrayal and the extent in which it affects you, and erase the mental imprint. You don't have to let betrayal create a mental imprint. That's in the subconscious mind, which is not easy to do, because everything you experience, tends to be stored in the reactive side of the brain, which is the subconscious mind. But it's very important not to let those become an imprint. it's exactly like, when a disease becomes chronic, and then the more chronic becomes, the difficult it is to heal from something. So the sooner you catch something, the sooner you catch the element of being hurt by betrayal, and the more you work on erasing the file, the easier it's going to be for you not to be affected by the betrayal. And then also literally throwing the betrayal away, writing on a paper what are you feeling about being betrayed, or you betrayed, or whatever that is, and you capture those emotions. It's like a therapy, the best form of therapy. When something like this happens, you take a piece of paper and you start writing it down, and you can burn it, you can tear it apart, you can throw it in the toilet, whatever way you choose to throw those emotions away. You throw it in the garbage, find ways, to release the emotion and then throw them away. It's a form of healing, and
right.
not
And you
allowing
don't have to do it directly to the person. If you have a picture, or like you said, you can just talk to the spirit of the person.
Right.
So, because they may never apologize, they may never even accept they're part of the situation, and they'll just frustrate you. And I agree with you about the imprint. If you don't do anything, you'll just attract another person and another body.
Don't do that. What happens? All your you start harboring feelings within yourself, and they grow. Those neurons in the brain that support the negative feeling, they start growing, and this is the way people become depressed. This is the way people become obsessed. This is the way people develop mental disorders, by not catching something from the beginning and allowing something mental to become a pattern of behavior, or turn into a pattern, turn into an imprint. So the very moment you went through an experience that was traumatic, you catch it. It's like a cancer. It has to be stage 1, and you apply a treatment, and you get rid of it. It's the same in a metaphoric way. It's the same way with something that betrayal creates a mental imprint. So you delete it from the very beginning, from the first phase, and you don't allow it to grow.
Yeah, true. But you have to be aware and conscious of it. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
If you're not, but you should be aware, because the feelings, the bitterness, the anger, the resentment, all of those feelings, they start harboring, they are there. You can't deny those feelings.
Yeah, but on top of that, you're recording you.
That's exactly like you pretend you're not sick when you are,
On top of it, if you're thinking about them and all that anger, you're courting each other. You're courting that to them. And you're never going to refuse. It's almost like you're stalking yourself by doing that, or you feel like they're stalking you energetically. And then you draw more people like that. Even worse situation, a person who is that and worse. And then you get I ended up getting beat up by somebody that I never learned. I didn't realize I was attracting the same issues that I needed to heal. And I finally, that was the end. I needed to stop and really go in and do my work, my shadow work, whatever that was called. I needed to do that. And that was important. And hopefully someday a good relationship will come back in my life. I've had some that was pretty good. So.
You're right on the money.
Thank you.
It's so good to talk to you. Anytime you call me, it's a great pleasure.
Thank you. I better let you go, because I'm sure there's other people waiting to call in for you.
I call anytime.
Thank you. I love your advice.
KMET Radio, I'm Carmen Harra. I will take a short break, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Hello, everybody. I'm back. KMET Radio, ABC Radio. I'm so excited to be with you today with my show, Live Now, talking about betrayal. You're probably going to ask me, how can I recover from betrayal? How can I recover from the trauma? And how can I rebuild the trust and have a healthy relationship after what has been done to me? These are what people ask me all the time. And there are real ways to recover faith. There are. And I'll talk about them in a minute. But the first rule of life is that if you want to conquer something, you have to understand it first. If you want to conquer betrayal and overcome, you have to understand it. So if you want to get over the pain of being betrayed and put an experience behind you, you understand the truth about betrayal. So I'm going to talk about the five truths about betrayal. And the first one is the person who hurt you is struggling with their own inner issues. And they might not even know that. Only people who are broken break other people. So remember that. People who are broken. So, but who's going to break you apart? Who's going to hurt your soul is somebody who's been hurt. Is the best way of understanding, of not taking it so personally as you are tempted to take it personally because you're the one who is betrayed, no? But you have to look at who's doing this. Okay, is your husband, is your significant other, is maybe a family member, or let's see who's doing it to you. And let's dig deeper into who is he and why is he doing this? And why is he so broken? And what has been done to him? What is he struggling with? That's number one. Number two, as much as you may not want to hear it, anyone who's hurting you is actually meant to be in your life. And you're going to say, why am I supposed to be betrayed? What am I supposed to bring in my life? Somebody who's going to treat me bad. Make sure you understand the lesson behind it so that you don't repeat it, so that lesson is already learned, so it's not going to have to come back to you again. So the question comes to, what kind of a lesson is that? Are you learning it? Are you accepting it? Are you seeing the bigger picture, or you take it personally, you get hurt and you can't overcome and you can't learn from it? And number three, the best way to avoid betrayal is by healing through the betrayal. Is what happens if you're not healing and leave an open wound. It's exactly, if you have an open wound, medically speaking, the bacteria creeps in, causing an infection. So similarly, in a spiritual world, if you leave an emotions wound open, it invites you in some situation that can hurt you over and over. So close the wound to be healed, and closing indirectly the repetition, which means closing the karma. And number four, betrayal is one of the best opportunities for personal growth. You might think, really? Yeah, it really is. Is an opportunity for personal growth, is an opportunity for self-improvement. So when you feel pain, you become incredibly resilient. When you feel pain, you become creative. It's one of the first instincts instilled in us by nature. So we evolve through experience. That's true. We evolve through experience. And number five, which I love, is that out of difficulties come the miracle of life. I used to say this since I know myself. Out of difficulties come the miracle of life. There's no pain that is permanent. And after all, the low comes the high. Always something that you go low in life is followed by going high in life. Such is the flow of life. So if you want to bounce back from betrayal and find what is next, let's talk about it. So call in, because this is a call-in show, 951-922-3532. Actually, I have a caller. I have Julia online. Hi, Julia. How are you, my lovely lady?
Hi, my dear friend. How are you doing, Carmen?
I'm good. Excited about my topic, like always. I always love talking about the things that people need to heal, people need to understand, people need to do something about it. So have you ever felt betrayal in so far, or not really?
Yeah, I did all the time, and I keep attracting that.
Are you following any of my steps, the 5 steps to understand betrayal, so that you can never allow it to happen to you again?
And I cannot agree more that the person who is hurting you, it's because they are hurt themselves and they don't know.
Yeah,
this is why they do
broken.
that.
People who are hurting you are always broken. Broken people, because to break somebody, you have to be broken.
Yes, that's true.
It doesn't happen otherwise. Only if you're broken, you want to break someone else. If you're entire, complete, unhurt, and happy and joyful, you're not going to hurt someone else. You are not.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree.
Simple principle of life. So, you have to look at who's doing it, and then look deeper and this is where we make a lot of mistake when we choose our partners. For instance, we don't acknowledge, we don't see beyond the surface. The surface that might look good, somebody who's handsome, who's attractive, who might have some money in the bank, who seems to be successful, but we don't see beyond that surface, and that's where the problem starts 1 or 2, 5 years, 7 years later,
Yeah, this is why it's great to look at the things, from a spiritual point of view and see beyond, all the time, like what's
right.
I just called you tonight it's morning there, to tell you that I finished the fling with the guy.
You did what?
You were right. I finished the fling with the guy that I was mentioning to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I personally think you did good. I don't have the right to tell you what to do. I suggested my opinion to you.
Yeah.
Because I care, because I think as your therapist, I think as somebody who wants you to be well and doesn't want to see you going through pain and suffering. And at a deeper analysis, you will actually acknowledge that this was your best decision. Do you agree?
Yeah, I did acknowledge that already.
Right.
Yeah, there were too many red flags that I didn't notice, and I just
When there are red flags and when there are too many, then walk away, because you can. When too many things needs to be fixed, you get lost through trying to fix everything, and you might lose way too much time, and it might not work. So you did good.
I know that.
How does it feel?
It feels nice. I feel like a stupid now, because he was reaching out to me like 5 times per day, and now he didn't at all. So I feel like a bit betrayed, let's say, when somebody
Not betrayed. You would have been really betrayed by going for it under the circumstance that we know his situation. The man had a wife, and we knew that the betrayal could have happened if you would have accepted a situation like this. Then that long terms, you would have felt big time betrayal.
Yeah, I already feel
it's you betraying you. You would have betrayed yourself.
Yes, of course.
So you would have betrayed yourself. So what you did, you didn't allow yourself to be betrayed.
Yes. But I accepted to be touched and kissed by him, and now I'm thinking maybe I got the disease and I'm so idiot. I don't want to think about that, but all the things are coming to my mind that
don't think of anything. And what you need to think right now is expect something in the future. Think of how you're gonna, meet somebody new, and how wonderful that experience is gonna be. That's the way I want you to project things for you right now.
Yes.
See,
thank you so much,
the
Carmen.
next step for you. How wonderful that next step is going to be.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, my love.
I love you, Carmen.
Appreciate your call. Okay, my dear. Yes, so I was explaining to you guys what are the 5 steps, which I would love to repeat very briefly, because it's so significant, the healing process. So number 1, the person who is hurting you is struggling with his own issues. So who's hurting you and betraying you is not somebody who's entire, complete, whole, happy, celebrating life, but somebody who is broken. Because again, only a broken person will break another person. So take into consideration this aspect. Second, everybody coming in our life, they are meant to come in our life. They come to teach us something. So there's a lesson you are learning here. So learn the lesson. Don't learn it the hard way. Just take it as a lesson. And the lesson comes with healing. So when that lesson comes, accept first the healing process. And don't let that wound open. Close the wound. A wound is dangerous. It gets infected, metaphorically speaking, and you don't want that, because then you're going to suffer forever. and you will never heal, and you'll never allow anybody in your life. You'll never have trust again. So we don't want that. Close the wound and close your karma. Betrayal is the opportunity for growth, as much as you might not see it, but try to see it as a lesson to become more spiritual, become more evolved. So this is, like any lesson of life, a lesson of growth. And remember always, you can frame this, I used to frame this, have it on my walls. Out of difficulties come miracles of life. When you go to a hard time, you create a miracle. The most extraordinary people in this world, they create the most extraordinary art, music. Think of Beethoven. Think of who actually, went through the heart. I remember the Symphony of Destiny was when Beethoven was thrown in the street, and he had no place to live. So think of the most difficulties. When you're in a difficult situation, like being betrayed, for instance, you are acknowledging that no pain is permanent, something is temporary. And this is the low in your life, but you will go high again in your opportunities. And this is the flow of life. So this is what you're learning. So if you want to talk to me, this is a call-in show, 951-922-3532. My wonderful producer, Justin, will take your call and will connect you with me. I'm going to take a short break, and I will be with you in a minute. I'm back, KMET Radio. So excited to be with you every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. KMET, it's a calling show, so choosing different topics, loving to talk to you directly. If you want to communicate with me, if there's any ways I can help you, guide you, it's my pleasure, my honor to communicate with you. The number to call is 951-922-3532. I'm Carmen Harra. So excited to be your host today on KMET 1490, affiliated to ABC Radio. And also, I'd love to connect with you on social media, because that's what we all want to invite you on social media. So important to be my friend on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm on TikTok right now. So I'm crazy. I can't believe all this application. Or I'm always trying, to do as many lives as possible and talk to you about different ideas, different topics. Like today, I'm talking about betrayal, because it's so significant to understand the steps that you need to take to process the betrayal, and not to let this trauma linger, and not to allow the negative emotion to create an imprint in the reactive side of the brain. As you know, my new book, Committed: Finding Love and Loyalty to the Seven Archetypes, is still available. It came out like 7-8 months ago, but I have a new book that's ready very soon, and I am going to release that book soon. I just gave the manuscript to my publish house, excited about my new book. Meanwhile, Committed is still available, but I'm working on another book, because, we do projects after projects after projects. So this is, unfortunately, people don't read as many books as they used to. I remember when I published my first book, Everyday Karma, 20-something years ago, we used to do tours all over the country. People were coming, people were interested to buy books, to read them, to learn. But nowadays, people are on TikTok. People are not that interested. They're on the internet. Reading a book is way too complicated. So I'm just joking. But it's the world of the internet. Is a different world we are living in. And the world continues to change. But what doesn't change is the feelings about betrayal. And I'm going to give you some steps to rebuild trust after betrayal, because it's so significant to rebuild your trust. Because after being betrayed, you don't trust anybody. You don't even trust yourself. So how do you rebuild trust? And I'm going to give you like 50 steps to take to rebuild trust. And the first one starts by understanding former betrayal. In order to overcome betrayals, you have to understand how each instance of betrayal has affected you. Because Reality is you're not betrayed only once, and there can be different types of betrayal. You can be betrayed by your significant other, but you can be also betrayed by your friends, betrayed by your coworker, betrayed by the people in your life, your family members, your neighbor. God knows who can actually betray you. Make a list of everybody, who has betrayed you, and be honest. Write down those events and in which way they influence you. Keep a list. Unfortunately, it reaches a point in which you have to have a list of all of that. Recognize, what has happened, and try to put that list behind you. Try to by when you acknowledge, you have an ability, to kind of delete, something that you don't want to acknowledge, something that you refuse, something that you bury. We always talk about something in psychology called dissociated amnesia, because you actually refuse to acknowledge something that was painful. Now, when you suffer something, you have to erase the mental imprint. I spoke about this with my first caller. Betrayal is sitting in your subconscious mind, and it might be very difficult for you to extract it from there, to take it out. But with very deep and profound, meditation sometimes, even sessions of hypnotherapy, you can actually go deep there, and release those feelings that are associated with betrayal. Another element that is very significant is to forgive those who betrayed you. And probably you heard this a million times, but I always encourage forgiveness, which means detach, because you have to detach. Exactly like Jesus and Buddha, they preach forgiveness over and over and over again for humanity, because you have to detach from a negative situation in order not to allow that to harm you. As long as you harbor anger against that situation, your personal progress will be stopped, will be impeded. So strive to forgive one person each day, especially those people who betrayed you. Make an effort, because forgiveness is for your own good at the end of the day, because you detach from them. And I mentioned this before during the show, to do the exercise of writing down your worst betrayal and capturing those emotions that you felt, and get it out of your system, no matter when it happened, even if it happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And then toss it up in a dumper, burn it, tear it apart, flush it up in the toilet, do whatever you want with those emotions that you capture on a piece of paper. This symbolic act, it's very, very positive, because it's a form of therapy, and it pretty much makes you feel like you eliminated a stone from your kidneys or from your gallbladder. It's just such a feeling of renewal. Then next step is you need to start slow, of trusting again, slowly, and find people you have faith. Look around and find somebody who you can trust again, because there are a lot of genuine people, wonderful people in this world. You just have to rebuild the trust and regain faith in yourself. The first person you have to trust is you, believe it or not. You can't accomplish anything without a sense of deep, unbreakable trust in yourself. Make a promise to yourself each month, and a promise that you're going to keep. And that becomes like your routine, that you can promise yourself to take small daily steps, only like you create a pattern of behavior, a habit. And you can trust you, because who else you going to trust than you at the end of the day? Trust that you can get better. Trust that you can believe in others. Trust that you trusting others. So make it like some kind of a ritual. Whenever you go deep within yourself, that's why meditation is relevant. You go to the root of your problem. And if your problem is you've been hurt, you've been betrayed, you've been lied, you've been cheated, you've been falsely accused, you've been robbed, whatever has happened to you, whatever injustice has been done to you, go within yourself and try to regain the trust that this will never happen. You will never allow it, and you will learn from this experience. And please, 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 please detach from the people you don't trust. You'll notice, introspecting this more and more, that there's a lot of people around you that you should not trust. There's no reason to put trust in people that are dishonest. And if you feel someone isn't trustworthy, you don't need to let them run your life or be around you. You must be selective. I don't need to tell you, but sometimes I need to tell you that there are people around you that you just allow them to be in your life and they're not worthy. Keep people in your life. Keep people in your life that are good, and keep the people that are disloyal away from you, because they will make you feel bad about everybody else at the end of the day. Walk away from people you know are not right for you. Walk away from people you know are not right. Don't let them back into your life, no matter what tricks they're gonna try. I've been through something like this with some people who desperately try to come back in my life with false promises, bringing flowers, but they are who they are. People don't change. We cannot make them change. So already they broke your trust. They should never be back into your life, not in this lifetime and not in the next life, and never. So no to set boundaries, no to be strong. That's why I think that the lesson about betrayal is so powerful. It makes you grow. It makes you see life with different eyes. It tests your resilience. It tests your power to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries, to become more who you are meant to be. Now, I also want you to put faith in the divine, because spirit is always around you. So if you're having problem trusting others, then don't have problem trusting the source you come in, which is the source of the divine. So trust the world of the divine world, the spirit world. Like we used to say, we trust God, the divine world. Trust whatever you believe in, trust that. Trust your beliefs, and trust that there is always a higher power that governs this reality we are living in. So trust that divine power and use that in your favor. And you know what? At the end of the day, never betrayed. If you've been betrayed, you don't need to betray back. A lot of people say, well, I've been betrayed. Okay, let me betray back as a revenge. Remember the phrase, don't do unto others as you have done unto you? Never forget that. Whatever you've been betrayed or not, never betrayed anyone else. Don't respond in the same way. You're much better than that. If you're unhappy in a relationship or marriage, don't betray your partner. You can walk away. You can be honest, but don't harm nobody. That's very bad karma, I tell you. Don't create bad karma because we pay for it. Sooner or later, as much as we think, oh, I did this and it makes me feel good, I cheated, no, and that haunts us. Sooner or later, that comes to bite us. If you betray another person to get revenge, you create negative karma that will trap you in a cycle. Karma is a bitch, and you get impeached. Karma is a bitch, you get in trouble. Karma is a bitch, and you pay for it. I'm just playing words here, but it's true. Karma is not a punishing law. It's the law of restitution, and it brings justice in our life. And whenever you've been to a hard time and you've been betrayed, envision where your life is going in a positive way. Envision an ideal tomorrow. When envision, then you will never be hurt again. That the future is exactly the way you want it, and don't be afraid if you've been betrayed to believe in tomorrow, because it's so significant to continue to be positive, to continue to focus on empowering thoughts, on being calm, on being on the right side and the bright side of life. And master your emotion is essential if you've been betrayed, or your emotion can be, I said this many times, your best friends, they can also be your worst enemies. Emotions are beautiful. There's no greater feeling than falling in love and feeling loved. It's the most powerful emotion. But when you easily become stuck in emotion, then you can never heal from betrayal. Then you become obsessed, and then you can never move forward if your emotion that are negative take control over your life. So only operate on positive feeling. Take a leap of faith. Make a decision based on pure faith. Take a leap of faith based on your intuitive mind telling you where you're going, what you need to do, and trust people unconditionally after you regain trust, because that's the only way. When you find one or two people that you can really trust, I trust them with all your heart. And reaffirm faith every day. Every morning when you wake up, speak an affirmation to yourself in loud voice. Say to the divine, I trust my life. I trust my husband. I trust the people in my life with all my heart, in order to empower yourself and regain the trust. I'm Carmen Harra on KMT Radio, 1490 AM, affiliated to ABC. I'm very grateful for your time, for listening, for calling in. And I'll be with you next Friday, same time, same place, at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
You have been listening to Live Now with Dr. Carmen Harra, heard every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time